name is Nayeli Vivanco. I am the Vice President for the Robertson Center for Intercultural Leadership and Programs. We have a very unique opportunity here with residents that are coming from all corners of the world with a whole lot of diversity, not only culturally, but interdisciplinary, economical background, every single aspect of diversity we have in this one house. And so our goal is to be able to foster, better understanding amongst all of these different identities, so that when they go out into the world, they take these leadership skills with them. And so that was the primary focus and mission of the Robertson Center. So the whole international house movement began in the 1920s. And the first house was actually in New York. The story really goes that Harry Edmonds had encountered an exchange student in New York crossing paths and said good morning to this person. And this person was like, wow, I've been here for weeks and no one has exchanged, a conversation with me. And they decided to start hosting different exchange students that were in New York in their home. And they would come and they would have these Sunday suppers. They would gather, they would have conversations about different perspectives. And that kind of started the movement of, hey, we should be better hosts to all of these people that are coming to learn from, to be here in this space. They landed on Berkeley, and actually this house was very controversial at the time when they wanted to build it, because of where we sit, right? It sits, Piedmont is where all of the Greek houses live. And this was going to be the first co-ed house. It was going to be housing people from all over the world, people of color, very first time that this was going to happen. So from back in the 30s, when this was established, that was already kind of reckoning with the status quo. So it created a lot of chaos, and that's what the dome is, which we have at the top. It says that it sheds like a beacon of light towards the rest of Berkeley. And this was a place that was going to house everybody and anybody that wanted to live here, regardless of their background.
So my name is Teo, and I am originally from Los Angeles. I'm graduating this December, so I'm a senior, and I'm studying environmental economics. I would say that this year has been very social. There's always something going on at iHouse. Even if there's not a scheduled event, people are hanging out all the time. And I consider myself an extrovert, but it's definitely forced me to go out even more than I normally do. I've also met a lot of different people from very different backgrounds. And I think in that way, it's been a really great opportunity for growth. And I feel like I've seen my perspectives on diversity changing as I've lived in the house. People here are slightly older. The average age is 22, 23. So we have a lot of grad students, which in the dorms isn't really common because it's mostly first years there. And in addition to grad students, we also have, as you might imagine, a lot of international students and students from countries that I feel like aren't really represented in the dorms.
My name is Germinal Montagny. I'm an exchange student from France. I'm studying political science, and I'm staying here for a year. Of course, coming to a huge university like Berkeley, it can be at first a bit intimidating because there are 40,000 students. I don't know how many, and you're like, oh, how can I find people that I can be friends with? And just at iHouse, I've become friends with so many people. Even if there is a lot of work, I used to say that it feels like summer camp because you're always together, in the Great Hall or eating. You can just sit at the table and eat with people you don't know. So yeah, iHouse is a very good experience so far.
Every Wednesday we have diversity and coffee hours where people can host their country or culture that they want to promote, and everything, we provide funding, and everything around that hour is to promote and just bring to light something that people wouldn't know otherwise. We do continue the tradition of Sunday suppers in a different scale. We don't do them every Sunday as the Edmonds family did, but we do them 4 times throughout the semester, throughout the year.
My name is Jane Ann Lamp, Lamph. I went here for graduate school. So I graduated in '82 in mechanical engineering. So my graduate degree's from here, but not undergrad. Did a lot of, I think they still do, international cuisine. So you'd have a different international day, and depending on what the students were. So, you might have International Day from Bahrain or India or somewhere in Europe. And they also have cultural days, so you would learn about the culture of that, either that country or that city, and they would do dress and dance and things, so you could really, it was a cultural day to learn about the food and the customs and everything.
Yeah, my name is Manmohan Mahal. When I lived in I-House, people knew me as Taj because my last name was Mahal. I graduated from I-House in 1977 with a degree in mechanical and nuclear engineering. I did my junior college in San Jose, and I always wanted to kind of get and be a part of this international community. And when I came to this place to look around for different places to find, I-House was spotted on the list, and I said, I like this. And even before I got into the school, I visited this I-House, and I was standing on these stairs, and I saw a student kind of drive by, and I said, wow, how lucky he is. He's living in I-House and getting his education in Berkeley. And holy cow, 2 years later, I was in the same place, and I immediately decided that I'm going to live in I-House. And that's where the best memories of my life are made.
The whole mission of I-House is to promote and foster intercultural understanding for a more peaceful and just world. And so that dove representation is the representation of peace. So really, how do we get people from all corners of the world with all different perspectives to agree to disagree peacefully, and take those learnings, plant a seed, so that when they leave I-House, it's kind of that ripple effect, right? You're here and you're at I-House and you have this conversation with someone in the dining hall. You have different perspectives. You're either planting a seed in someone's head, or you just say like, hey, I agree to disagree, but then you kind of carry that on maybe to your class, maybe when you go back home, and then you start, you've learned something new from someone, you've gained a different perspective, and that really helps us implement our mission across, many different layers.
Cal's a diverse campus anyway, but living here gave a real opportunity to be from the States and the minority. Met a lot of people. I have friends for life. I was taking some pictures to send to some of my friends that were, they lived on the 8th floor and I lived on the 4th floor way back then. So, we're talking 40 years, long time.
I learned to understand and work with people from all different nationalities, and I was learning about the culture over here to do that. And the experience of kind of going into the I-House and walking through the dining hall and seeing the diversity of all these people. Every time we sat on the table and we met somebody new, we were really creating new contacts and new people.
I work internationally a lot. I'm an engineer by training, but I work internationally a lot, and so it gives you a lot of appreciation for that, which I think is more and more important because we're a global economy and there's a lot of issues going on around the world, and the more individuals understand those, I think the better. It's not us versus them. It can help a conflict. So I hope more people learn that now.
Discussing of other culture is something that you will keep all your life, and above just knowing that in that country they do things in that way, but just be in general open in life. It's not more the direct skill to know in Germany they do that this way, but just the fact that to be prepared to hear other opinion than yours. And in college I had the first chance in France to hear other perspective about things that I thought everyone in a way thought about in the same way, or kind of the same way, where you can have very legitimate views that are not your own. And I think it will stick for me my whole life.
I feel in a time where it seems like diverse environments are impossible, this is a shining example that they are possible. And that's not to say that we don't have a lot of work to do here, and I think like our definition of a diversity could definitely be updated, but it is kind of beautiful to see just how much you can fit into one building and how amazing the conversations that happen are. And so, yeah, I would say that it's made me a little bit more hopeful overall that the environments I work in and the country that we live in can make more progress to embracing the diversity that's already there.
So for me, it's very important that we continue with this institution and have the vision that more and more people can come and experience these things. The experience that we got at International House, the freedom of speech we had at International House, the capability to meet so many people we had at International House, the capability to meet visionary people while we were at International House was amazing. We still continue to inspire each other from the things we did and the things we have done. And it's a strong community that you build up with the members of the hires. I just met some people inside and they introduced me to this group of people from India. And I said, you know what? You guys are going to remain connected for the rest of your life. You know? I'm still connected with Ascent after all these years, you know, and it becomes your family.